use this to see how much of my house should be destroyed.
We get Beth's email. Last week's didn't.
Yeah. As you can see, it's just the I did not. I didn't take no. Right here in my song group. Quick on the trip down that trail and there's a lake. How'd you like? Like that, and trees at the house and the roots. No, just as a, I don't know how often you change the recycle bin back there. You might check, you know, if there's any papers that got in the wrong place. It might be that. Yeah. Not that I would know anything about it.
Whatever, let's go. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Ellensburg City Council meeting of July 3rd, 2023. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Elliott?
Flag, United States, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk, please take the vote.
Beauchamp. Here. Elliott.
Here.
Goodlow. Here. Wynn.
Here.
Miller. Or David Miller.
Here.
Monica Miller. Also here. Lundquist.
Here. Thank you.
Okay.
There are no proclamations or awards or recognitions this evening, so we are at the consent approval of the agenda.
Madam Mayor, I move the approval of the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I too vote aye. That motion passes. The consent agenda is before you.
The Mayor, I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
I too vote aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are at petitions, protests, and communications, which is first up, update on the Ellensburg Community Radio. Heidi, do you want to introduce, or Molly, are you?
I think Jerry Aldridge is going to
Jerry.
start off here, so I will invite Jerry up and I'll do a little screen share here. There we go.
All right,
Big
we'll
fan
give
of
this a shot and see how it works.
that.
Hello, City
Letters.
Council. Good evening to you. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here with you this fine evening to tell you a little bit about Ellensburg Community Radio. I'm Jerry Aldridge. I'm on the board of ECR. I've been a part of this community for 30 years, doing a number of different things, but right now it's ECR. Everybody has to do something once they get retired, you know, so it's ECR. And Ellensburg Community Radio has been around for a while, but it's kind of a well-kept secret. A lot of people really don't know we even exist, but that's changing. And we are excited about the changes that are coming. So we wanted to have an opportunity to share with you, the city, what we've got going and what we're doing and what we're excited about being a part of this city and this community and what we can do as we partner with you and everyone else. Okay, so let's see. Okay. All right. So who or what is ECR? We've got a little video we put together. I'm going to play for you. Started just a few years ago in a sweet little town I know. We planted the seeds and we watched it grow. Ellensburg Community Radio.
You are listening to ECR, Allensburg Community Radio.
ECR, made up of volunteers. Come join us.
It's ECR to tune into us than you think. Ellensburg Community Radio, streaming live at ebergradio.org.
Give you just a little bit of a clue as to what we are. Okay, and just to clarify too, you're not going to find us on your radio dial. We are an internet radio station. We stream live 24/7. So you have to find us on your devices, but that's where most people go these days anyway. So let's take a look at our mission statement. It's local voices linking people through music, art, education, and community. And I think that's just a great goal and a great thing to do, to link our community together. Our guiding philosophy, we want the community to come together and have fun. We're fun folks, okay? A lot of people that are on our board have always said, this is the most fun board I've ever been a part of. This is cool, all right? We want to share stories, music, news, and upcoming events to celebrate that diversity and the interesting characters, and I'll claim to be one of those interesting characters that make up our town. We're all different. That's a good thing. We, as I already said, an eclectic, diverse music 24/7. So there's always something playing on ECR, no matter what. And just recently, within the last month or so, we have kind of updated and changed our musical playlist. It's a little different, but it's still a great mix and very eclectic with a little bit of everything, something for everybody. One of our old taglines used to be ECR, if you don't like what you're listening to, just wait a minute and something else will come along. So programming is quirky and unique as our community. And then in addition to our stream of music, we also have community members that provide locally produced programs scheduled into our stream throughout the week. So we're up to, I don't know, we have 15, 20 or so people that are providing their own personal local shows. If you're into kids, like I'm into kids, all right. Spent 36 years as an elementary school librarian. I do a kids show every Wednesday, all right? Beans in my ears with kids music, the latest and greatest in kids music. Not for everybody, but there's something for everybody. Let's just take a quick look at some of the programs. I'll just run through them. I won't read these whole descriptions for you. You can see them, but we've got the Sunday service, which has been a real hit. That's been going for about 2 years now. Every Sunday from 8 to 11. Ambient chill. We got hand basket. Nocturama. Mondays. Waiting for toast. On the road. Then you got Wednesdays. Oh, I don't know who that is, but yeah, Beans in My Ears comes in on Wednesdays. If you're into wine, and there's a lot of folks into wine, we've got Lines on Wine, stories about local wineries and wine producers. That comes on every Wednesday evening. The Old Time Zone, old country fiddle music and things. Read along with Grammys. Grammys just reading stories to their grandkids every Thursday. Sonic Boom. We got Dr. John's radio show. So Dr. John Merrill Steskel gets on and shares medical information and has guests and different things going on. Street Lights. Tea Time. This is a fun one. This is a real live English bloke all the way from the UK who works right here, lives here in Ellensburg and works at Central. And he plays great music from his own personal collection. Put on a cup of tea and sit down and listen to the all done the English bloke. And he definitely sounds like an English bloke if you listen to it. Mercury Theater on the air, 100%. What that's all about? Well, the DJ's name is Cotton. So there you go, 100% Cotton. Friday nights. And now this is our real big exciting news coming along that you'll hear more about, I think, from Molly and Mike. But we want to try and really start spreading out into the community more and more and getting more involved. So we have started producing our own local community news program. Our goal is to have it Monday through Friday, every day. Right now, we're every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at on the hour in the mornings, and you get a repeat of the news every day. And we've got Mike Gallagher gets and puts together the news for us. Our John Morgan is our host for that, and he's a great DJ. We're gonna actually, there's just a clip from our website that shows you not only do we broadcast it, but we then also post the news on our website in more detail, so you can go and read it and follow up with what's going on. And allow me to just play a quick little audio clip so you can hear what it sounds like. I love his intro that he does.
Let's tell you what's happening in Ellensburg and the windswept shrub steppe of Central Washington. on Wednesday, June 28th. It's going to be 90 degrees today, wind out of the west northwest at 18 miles an hour. The sunrise was at 5:09 this morning, sunset at 9:01. The low tonight will be 62. The high on Thursday, 86 degrees. Top story, Upper County celebrates the 4th of July. The Upper County celebrates the 4th of July with its annual Pioneer Days celebration this weekend. That fun starts at 7 p.m. Friday with Mike's Tavern Rainier Revival Kickoff Party. Saturday highlights include the Pioneer Days Parade at 10 a.m., Roslyn Riders Play Day at 1 p.m., and the Ronald Heritage Festival at 5 p.m. The celebration concludes on July 4 with a fireworks show at dusk. Street closure reminder, we talked about this on Monday. 3 downtown city streets will be closed from 2 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday for resurfacing. 4th Avenue will be closed from Water to Route. Let's tell you what's happening in
good
Ellensburg
idea.
and the windswept shrub steppe of Central Washington
All right.
on Wednesday, June 28th. It's going to be 90 degrees today, wind out.
Anyway, you get the idea, but it's a great, well-produced news program. And we're actually in talks with KXLE about possibly even having them broadcast our news program that we're putting together. So we've got a lot of things going on. Big news: to do some of these things, of course, takes money. And we're a nonprofit and we've been very low key. Everybody's been totally volunteer in this organization to get it going. But we are reaching the point now where we are growing and we are reaching out and we are trying to become bigger and better. That takes a little bit of money, as most of you are aware. And so we are planning our first ever summer concert coming up Friday, July 14th to raise some funds. We've got local stars. We've got Star Anna, and many of you know who she is. She went to high school with my kids at the same time they were there, and they knew her and used to play music with her and stuff. Mark Pickerel is going to be stepping up and playing for us. And coming over from the west side, they're bringing in Stephanie Ann Johnson, who is also a up and comer. She actually was on The Voice a few years ago and got quite a bit of recognition there. So it should be a great concert. It's going to be out at the new Brick House Nursery and Gardens out on Monastash. Beautiful location. So we are looking forward to that. What can we do for you? For our organizations in the community, we are broadcasting PSAs. Okay, public service announcements. We're doing those free of charge for any nonprofit in the city. And they can record their own and send it to us and we'll post it, or they can just send us a script and say, this is what we want to do. And we have a number of voice talents that will record it for them and get it going. We've done a few for the city. We have some PSAs running that you've sent to us and a lot of things. So we're really reaching out to the community that way. And I think that's a big service that we're providing just to let people know what's going on and what's important with all the organizations around our community. Anyway. So how do you do it? How do you get to us? Because you don't turn that dial. Well, you just go to ebergradio.org on any device, on your smartphone, on your tablet, on your computer, wherever you're at, ebergradio.org. This is what you're going to see. And you're just going to click on the little play button there. And you will hear us coming to you live wherever you're at, 24/7. So it's easy. And if that's a little too complicated for you, you can just say, hey, Siri, or hey, Alexa, play Ellensburg Community Radio. And they may go through a third-party app that has some ads in it for a little bit, but it will get you to ebergradio.org. Okay, so that's what we've got going on. We won't take questions right now. We'll take some later. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to the amazing, the incredible, our founder, Molly Edson, who's going to let you in on a little bit of the history of ECR and some other things.
Thanks, Jerry. Jerry's usually a hard act to follow. It's got a lot of energy. I would just wanted to tell you a little bit about the history of Ellensburg Community Radio. It started almost 11 years ago. And I had watched a segment on 60 Minutes on a town called Marfa, Texas, in West Texas. And it really had some similarities to Ellensburg. It had diversity in that it had the ranchers and it had a large Hispanic population, but it also had this artsy community. And somehow they managed to, every time they would have their salsa cook-off or a parade, everybody came, everybody participated. And I watched that and I thought, we could use a little more of that, of everybody participating. And what did Marfa have that we don't have in Ellensburg? And I concluded that they had a community radio station, which they did, and just put that in my power factor and thought about it. And then a young man named Ben Casper came to Central and sat down with me at a Gallery One soup bowl and just sat down. He said, I'm new to town. What does this town need? And I said, well, that's funny you'd ask. I think we could use a community radio station. And he said, well, then let's do it. And with the enthusiasm of youth, we went ahead and filed an application for a low power FM license, and were denied. So that was like, took the wind out of our sails, but there were like 6 or 7 guys. I was the only female in this group that really wanted to do radio, really wanted to do it. And we said, well, they said it was a year and a half before we could do another application. A lot of stations stream. Why don't we just try streaming in this year and a half while we're waiting for our appeal? And that was in 2014. And we've been on the air ever since, except for just some few glitches here and there, which we tend to have. But as we say, it's community radio, obviously. So we've been blessed in several ways. One, we latched on to the star of Laughing Horse Arts Foundation in the very beginning, and they have been our sponsor for our nonprofit status, as well as a hand-holding operation that's been very helpful for us to keep going. And the second really, a wonderful thing happened was that we were bequeathed some money from Donald O'Connor's estate after he sold his artwork. And he said Ellensburg Community Radio was one of the beneficiaries. And so suddenly we had a little money. We've always just been hand to mouth. And we always knew we needed a morning show or something that would make people turn on the radio in the morning. And with a little bit of money, we put our heads together and we said, well, are we just going to be a hobby, or are we going to be a force in our community? And about that time, we also noticed, thank goodness it's not the same, but we were lacking some local news. And it feels like we could be adrift when we don't have that local news. So we stepped off the cliff and we hired Mike Gallagher to be our station manager. And I'm sure all of you in your position have dealt with Mike Gallagher before. So so without further ado, I'd like to have Mike come up and tell you a little bit about his role at ECR.
Many of you probably know I was with the Daily Record for 30-ish years, various responsibilities. The reason I was brought in and what interested me about doing this is creating community connection points through the radio and through our various platforms, social media, websites. So right now, what we're doing and what I'm doing and what we're doing more is like, it's pretty foundational work. Is letting people know what's happening and how they can get involved. Like every Monday, I'll do a whole list of whoever's meeting that week, like you guys, and if there's something on your agenda, I think people are gonna be interested in, it'll be on there, and all the community events, all the community, regardless of where you're at in the community, whether you have kids or whether you're a senior or whatever's going on, try to connect people to all the different things going on. Because I think the reason I live here and the reason most of us live here, because we enjoy being involved in the community. And the community, and the more you know about the community, the more you get involved with the community. I think one of the problems is people get isolated and they don't know what's going on. And you have to a little bit of an outreach, So I mean, right now, that's what, if you listen to it in the morning, that's what you're gonna hear a lot of that. It's just, hey, this is what's going. This is how you get involved with it. This is how you get connected. Are you interested in this topic? This is, the city council is going to talk about this. Or the county commissioner is going to talk about this. Then people can get involved and, through that, kind of create a better community. I think that's what we want to do, is create commonalities, because everybody wants to be involved in this community. If you live here, that's the main reason you do it. If you don't want, you live in a bigger place where you don't get that level of involvement. So I think it's important. And this is a way we can do it that we control, that the community controls. it's not an outside corporation coming in and providing the service for us, we're doing it. And we value it, so it's gonna withstand or stay, you know, regardless of whoever comes in or goes out. That's our goal, is create an existing structure that outlasts me and everybody else. Anyway, so that's just kind of brief so if anybody has any questions about what we do or what we want to do or what we should do.
Council, do you have questions? Comments?
I had one question, and it could apply across not just the news department, but the programs that were identified with the Times. Are those live when they're broadcast, or are they recorded?
It's
and
a
streamed?
mix. There's a lot of
or
people who do it
not?
live, but who enjoy doing it live. But there's also people who record and then they just put into the system, and you can, it's like any other content management system, you know, time it for when you want it to play and that type of thing. But I think, I don't know how many percentage, what do you say the percentage? People do it? At least half to live, yeah.
So,
And you can see them down in in our little studio.
right, I have, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Jerry, I'm sorry, you need to come to the microphone to speak. Because we're broadcasting live.
We're live.
You're
live
okay.
at this moment.
I'm
It should be
sure
on
you guys
ECR
know that,
though, I
but
would
anyway,
think.
I was just saying, as example, I do record my show at home and broadcast it just simply because it's easier for me, because I have been a media guy, I've had a video business and all that, so I've got the equipment I need at my home, so it's just convenient for me to record it there and edit it and get it all ready, and then, but I have the ability to upload it remote from my home straight to the radio station to our software and get it scheduled and programmed and ready to go, so that works. So it's just whatever works for you, we have it all going on.
Yeah, I should have mentioned, there's opportunities for doing shows. I mean, if you have an interest in a genre or anything, I mean, yeah, it's like, that's the beauty of it. It's like, you can do it. It's like it's amazing how it's really simple, and it's an open source software. It's like, it's amazing how fast you can create your own radio station, really, and how so many people can be involved with like no barrier to entry. It's just learning a few things, but it's fascinating. It's an opportunity. It's this, you know, and more people are starting to get involved. Want to bring more younger people in and get kind of a different take on, you know, their music.
So if someone is interested in joining you, who would they contact?
They can contact me, you know, or anybody on the board, or yeah, but
Through the website?
yeah. Yeah, I'm working with a young person right now to get them on the air for a show, and hopefully when school starts out, I'll get some student involvement. I really want to get the high school involved, because I think it's a lot of opportunities for them, kind of create content and develop skills, and you know, if they want to do that or this for fun, you know, you know, not everything has to be for money. So this should be good.
I wanted to acknowledge how inclusive and responsive ECR has been over the years, and specific to projects that the city has moved forward during the pandemic. For example, the Arts Commission partnered with ECR to do a walking tour of the public art downtown, and in between spots, they featured local musicians. That's still on there now. It's pretty great. But also wanted to follow up about your listenership, and if you have a sense of what your current listenership, what your audience, who your audience is, and what your current plans are to expand that audience.
It is growing. It's you know, it's grown significantly since we started the morning show. That's kind of been a big boost. And we redid the basically it's a curated music list now. So it's a little bit tighter, a little bit more listenable over, so that increased, I think it's increased pretty dramatically. Right now we're just kind of getting going. Hopefully stuff like doing this community concert, because for us, it's just gonna be more people learning that we're there. And I think it's gonna be a lot of community partnerships. I think we can connect with like businesses and stuff in some mutually beneficial ways where, you know, they can expand our outreach to the community. And this is kind of like person to person, really. And, you know, Ellensburg that's how you usually spread things, it's kind of making connections with people. So I'm hoping that, you know, our website's getting more traffic, our Facebook's getting more traffic. It's building, and those things kind of build on each other, you know, once you get more, and it kind of builds on, more people share. It's like exponentially. You know. Eventually we'll be worldwide, and it'll be everybody. It's gonna happen. And I'll still be halftime, so.
Anyone else? Thank you for the presentation and for doing what you do. I think it is a great addition to the community and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Next is Board and Commission appointments, page 89. Let's see, so we have Courtney Garzone has applied to the Affordable Housing Commission and is recommended by that commission. Is Courtney here? Let's see, okay. And for the Parks Commission, Casey Mace Firebaugh and let's see, Marion Elliott were recommended out of 6 candidates. And I see Marion Elliott here. Would you like to introduce yourself, Marion?
Yes, can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay, great. Hi, I'm Marion Elliott. I'm a resident here in Ellensburg. I'm also a real estate agent. I've been living here in Ellensburg for 13 years now and raised both my kids. Just looking forward to getting involved with the community and helping out how I can.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Marion?
I wondered if she's attended a meeting yet. I'm just wondering if she is yet.
I think our agenda report said yes.
One of the parks meetings?
Yes. Have you attended a Parks meeting?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Thank you. And Casey?
Yes, hello.
Hey. Would you like to introduce yourself to the council?
Yeah, so I do recognize a few faces in there, but I'm Casey Mace Firebaugh. I am a professor at Central and Public Health. I believe I will be able to serve the parks with my experience in doing assessment, surveying, grant writing, and I have a particular interest in physical activity and mental health and environmental health. So I think that, you know, my approach is going to be to first listen and to kind of get a feel for what is happening before I really, you know, put my take on it. But I do look forward to being of service in this way.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Casey? Okay.
This, same question on the attendance that may be answered in here, but
Is it not? Casey, have you attended a Parks meeting?
I have on Zoom, you know, in the Zoom era. So
Hybrids allowed.
that's right.
Thanks.
that's all I think.
Is there anyone from the public who'd like to comment? Council.
Madam Mayor, I move we approve the appointments of Courtney Garzone to the Affordable Housing Commission, Casey Mace Firebaugh, and Marion Elliott to the Parks and Rec Commission.
Second.
Motion and second to appoint Courtney Garzone to the Affordable Housing Commission and Casey Mace Firebaugh and Marion Elliott to the Parks and Recreation Commission. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2 vote aye, opposed. Motion carries. Thank you and welcome aboard. Okay. Next is citizen comment on non-agenda issues. This is a time you would have 3 minutes to speak to the council about something not on tonight's agenda, but that the council has purview over. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Would you come to the microphone, Tom? You could
All
state
right.
your name for
Yes.
the record, please.
My name's Thomas Dell. Some people call me the old fool. No
That's because you
smiles
had a
there.
bookstore called.
I had a bookstore called the Old Fool's Bookstore. Anyway, I'm here as an unofficial representative of 176 residents of Briarwood Commons. We woke up or didn't wake up. That's not a bad idea, but on June 22nd, we found a notice taped to our doors that the company that owns Briarwood is raising our rent $150. This has been a real serious condition, and we're just saying, ouch, you know. And I'm wondering what the city of Ellensburg is doing about affordable housing. This is going to impact the whole community, the whole rental market. And I'm concerned, not so much for myself, but for a lot of my neighbors. And I think Nancy Goodlow, do you have any comments on this?
So for the citizen comment portion, our policy is not to respond this evening.
Okay,
But we'll have someone get in touch with you, and we do have a web page for our
Okay.
affordable housing projects.
right,
And we do have a commission if you would like to attend one of those meetings.
sure.
And you would be welcome to do that.
I was wondering about the possibility of rent control in Ellensburg.
That is something we have not approached, but
Okay. All right, thank you.
thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on non-agenda issues? There's no one online and no one else in the room. So we will move to item 9A. This is ordinance 4917, second reading, page 99.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council, Ryan Liskey, Public Works and Utilities Director. A few weeks ago, June 20th, I was here and council conducted first reading of ordinance 4917. The proposed ordinance is to increase the city manager's purchasing authority. So I'm here before you tonight requesting council to conduct second reading and adoption.
Council, do you have any questions? Is there anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this issue? Seeing no one, council?
Madam Mayor, I move second reading and adoption of ordinance 4917.
Second.
Motion and second. Motion and second to conduct second reading and adoption of ordinance 4917 relating to purchasing authority. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
I'll take the roll.
Oh, roll.
That's okay. Beauchamp,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Goodlow,
Yes.
David Miller.
Aye.
Monica Miller,
Yes.
Nguyen,
Yes.
Lilquist.
Yes.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Ellensburg, Washington relating to purchasing authority and amending sections 1.06.040 and 1.06.045 of the Ellensburg City Code.
Thank you. Next up is ordinance 4918 regarding compost procurement.
Good evening again, Ryan Liskey, Public Works and Utilities Director. That was a busy night for Public Works and Utilities. We also had a first reading of ordinance 4918 on the council's agenda. It has to do with compliance with a new state law in regards to composting. And so before you is a proposed second reading and adoption of that ordinance for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this issue? Seeing no one, council, do you have any questions? How about a motion?
Hey, how about a motion? Madam Mayor, I move second reading and adoption of ordinance 4918. City Code. Second.
Motion and second for second reading and adoption of ordinance 4918 regarding compost.
Beauchamp,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Goodloe,
Yes.
David Miller.
Aye.
Monica Miller,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Lowquist.
Yes. Okay, we are on
And-
page, oops, go ahead.
Okay, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Ellensburg, Washington relating to compost procurement and adding a new chapter to the Ellensburg City Code entitled 5.22 Compost Procurement Policy.
Thank you. Page 110, ordinance 4921, traffic code revisions.
Again, Ryan Liskey, Public Works and Utilities Director. Same night, June 20th. Council held first reading of ordinance 4921. This is in regards to some traffic code amendments. First issue was for disabled parking. There was some relocations and additional stalls added to the downtown. Those are ripe for being marked as we speak. Permanent markings will go down once this ordinance is in full effect and the pavement is completely cured. And then some always stop changes at the intersection of Bender Road and Sanders Road. And then also at on 8th Avenue by the Kittitas Events Center. So I'm here to recommend council consider second reading adoption of the proposed ordinance.
Council, is there any questions? Is there anyone from the public who'd like to speak regarding the traffic code revisions?
Move to conduct second reading and adoption of ordinance 4921.
Second.
Motion and second to conduct second reading and adoption of ordinance 4921, updating the city's traffic code. Please take the roll.
Beauchamp,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Goodloe,
Yes.
David Miller.
Aye.
Monica Miller,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Lowquist.
Yes.
An
Page one-
ordinance of the City Council of the City of Ellensburg, Washington relating to Title 8 Traffic and amending sections 8.22.020, 8.36.080, and 8.36.120 of the Ellensburg City Code.
Thank you. Page 136, ordinance 4922. This is first reading of a criminal code update.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. We're asking to conduct the first reading of ordinance 4922, amending Title 7 of the Ellensburg City Code. For a little background on this, 2 years ago, when the State Supreme Court invalidated Washington drug possession laws, the legislature jumped in to do a short fix. That was a 2-year fix that expired just this past month. While municipalities and counties around the state were waiting to see if the legislature would act to put something more permanent in place, we all got ready and put our own code in place. Fortunately, the legislature did act, but during that process, we discovered that there were some updates that needed to be done to Chapter 7. So the proposed changes here make those changes.
Are there any questions for Assistant City Attorney Ryman?
Apologize, I didn't introduce myself.
Okay.
I just had one, just to be clear, the revisions to the code are also in line with current guidance from the legislature, is that? accurate?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's correct. And also makes changes to that happened years ago that we're finally getting back.
To our code.
Correct.
Yeah.
Any further questions? Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak regarding the this code change? Seeing no one, council?
Madam Mayor, move to conduct first reading of ordinance 4922, amending Title 7 of the Ellensburg City Code.
Second.
Motion and second to conduct first reading of ordinance 4922, amending Title 7 of the Ellensburg City Code. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I too vote aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Ellensburg, Washington relating to Title 7, adding a new section entitled 7.04.035, Chapter 7.105 RCW entitled Civil Protection Orders, Adoption by Reference, and amending sections as listed in the ordinance of the Ellensburg City Code.
Thank you. We are at the manager's report, page 148.
Good evening, council. Thank you. Oops. All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Heidi Behrens-Turnaway, your city manager. Just a brief update. In addition to what is in your packet with the settlement from the ERRC property and then also our transit grant awards, I thought I'd do a little bit of show and tell. Stopped up just before the meeting to look at the progress of the mural artists at the Craigs Hill Water Tower. They started working this weekend. They expect their work to take up between 7 days to 10 days. And so you'll see some, they gridded the water tower. They spent a fair amount of time looking at the appropriate placement and the orientation, and they started painting. And so you're going to start to see this come to life. We are working on gathering time-lapse photography. So at the end, we'll be able to put pieces together. We'll have to do some post-production editing, but we think we'll have a nice progression to show you as well.
So I have a question on that, if you're moving on or you done
Absolutely.
with that. So I was asked if there was a website folks could watch, but that's no, if we're.
That's correct. We don't have it streaming at all. We're just capturing the photography and we're able to put that together. And so if we can do an early release of a piece of it, we will do that. But it's just a day at a time. It's pretty labor intensive, I will add.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. And the second item I wanted to add is today was a really big day for our street team. And we've had people working since about 3:30 this morning. And it's been a long day. So the downtown slurry seal went quite well. We've actually got some pretty decent weather here. And they striped this afternoon. So what you're seeing are just a couple images from the striping. It really cleans up the downtown. They will wait till it is good and dry this evening, because what happens when folks start rolling over it, if it's not completely dry, all the markings go away very quickly, and you'll also have some tire marks. And so we'll open it as soon as it's safe to do, sometime this evening likely, and so should be drivable tonight. And that's all I have to share tonight.
Thank you. Council member reports, Councilmember Brochet. Sorry. Elliot.
I have a couple of things fire related. That's probably no surprise. We went in Washington State from essentially having 100% of our resources available last week at this time to somewhere around 20 to 30% of our resources in a very short period of time. And I spent the week in Canyon, so it was nice local because we got home at night. But the fuel's cleared out and we're here. This is fire season, so any burning restrictions will probably go into effect, mostly affecting the rest of the county that week too. And I spent this morning helping to investigate a fire in Cle Elum, which had the potential, very strong potential, to take out a half a city block on their main street. They did a really good job. They stopped the fire, but I was working through my investigation process and noticed that they are well behind the city of Ellensburg in terms of code enforcement. So just thank you for people doing their jobs and making sure that we stay out of down.
So it being the eve of Independence Day and fireworks being a tradition, just a reminder, fireworks are not legal in the city of Ellensburg,
Thus discharge yourself,
but they are legal in the county.
except on state and federal lands.
Is there a liability if you send up a rocket, whatever those are called, and it catches someone else's house on fire?
Extreme circumstances, yes. Yeah.
So just using caution in this dry season. You're done, that was it? Councilmember Goodall.
Yes, I attended the Association of Washington Cities conference in Spokane. It's my first time at the meeting, and it was a really nice experience. I enjoyed all the sessions. Met an awful lot of very nice people, and I'm proud to be a part of the city council because there's a whole lot of really good people in this state that are doing wonderful public service for the residents of this state. And I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of them and have conversation with them. I would say overall, the theme, there wasn't an official theme of the conference, but what I heard was a lot about equity and inclusion and a lot about partnerships, community partnerships and community collaboration. So I think a lot of the things that we're doing here fall very much in line with the theme and the sessions that were at this year's conference. So, and I appreciate the city helping me with those expenses. Rich and I did coffee with council a week ago, and that was a lot of fun. Rich had to go to a fire, but he came back, so that was nice.
Big fire.
Yeah, we were scrambling around trying to find Monica to come and fill in, and he was back before I could even get a hold of her. So anyway, it was good. I had a meeting of the DEIB cabinet, the state cabinet that's working on diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging for around the state. And then I met with Heidi to do the agenda for tonight. So that was a fun experience.
Thanks for covering for me. Yeah. Is that it?
Yes, thank you.
Well, I haven't had terribly busy couple of weeks, but I did participate with the Arts Commission Chair and our Arts and Economic Development Manager interviewing two candidates for one open position. We had two excellent candidates and a recommendation be coming to council very soon. So just I thought the process was excellent and the candidates were both very strong. So we're excited about what will be coming in the future. I also attended the Touch a Truck event, which was on the 21st, and weather was great. Turnout as near as I could tell me, the parking lot was full. I don't know if anybody at the city is in charge of parking out there, but the parking lot was full. So it took me 2 or 3 trips around to find a space. The same. So anyway, but it was great, and the weather's great.
That's why you ride a bike.
Well, that would have been nice too. Yeah, the kids were, enjoying it.
Central Transit maybe.
Well, yeah, it's funny you say that because I think we talked about that possibility. But yeah, it was a good turnout. Kudos to everyone at the city and the partner agencies that participated. County, DNR, KVFR, it was just really well received. VPD was there. It was great. Even saw PW Pause, although I couldn't tell who was inside the suit. I was kind of thinking it was Ryan, but I don't think so. But did that, and then I attended a city council or a city meeting in the city of Forks last week, but I don't think it counts, so I'll just skip that. And then this morning I walked through, just happened to be going downtown, and I walked into the middle of our chip seal project. I didn't get into the chip seal. I was on the sidewalk, but as the manager indicated, the project from my vantage looked great. And I had the chance to talk to Derek, who was out watching the contractors, and it just sounded like everything on that project has just gone as well as it could possibly. And just what I also learned in talking a little bit, sort of inside baseball talk with Eric, was that the kudos to the Public Works Department in the pavement mix on this project, because we're doing something a little bit different. And it tends to, the expectation is that it's going to provide a lot more longevity for the pavement. Something we've used it in the project in town, but it's new for streets. So I think will be a great value for us. So that's all I have.
Great. Councilmember Monica.
Thing to report. Thank you.
Adam Wynn.
Nothing really to report. Was trying to make it to the Petra truck since it was, we could have just parked at my house since my backyard there, but fortunately was at the Lowe's in Yakima picking up a load of stuff for customers. I wasn't able to make it.
And I just wanted to point out the Yakima Basin Fish and Wildlife Recovery Board, on which I sit, is having an annual meeting on August 9th. But for the annual meetings, everyone is invited. They are doing a tour of salmon recovery projects in the Teanaway area. So it'd be fun to see some of those projects. But the annual meeting from 2 to 4 will be boring. So I would recommend going on the tours, but not necessarily the business meeting. But there's also lunch and speakers and stuff. So if anyone's interested, I also have a couple booklets that they sent of the restoration projects that have been done since the beginning of time of the board until now, and just kind of an introduction if you're interested in learning more about the board, to council or anyone else who would like to. And I got a few things in the mail from the Bike League regarding our let's see, there's a certificate for getting silver medal bicycle friendly community, but also some smart cycling safety kinds of pamphlets if anyone's interested. And with that, unless staff has anything to add, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Have a great 4th.